this book, Parekh People, written by one of my most favorite students and most successful students in the university. When ARUN JHA planned the book, once we talked to him about it, he needed my comments or suggestions. But I feel so happy that someone has this kind of a feeling for a teacher, which is the true tradition of Guru and Shishya in India. I don't contribute much to his writing, because no one in fact can add to the poetic spirit, to this particular imagination that one has who is capable of writing poetry like ARUN JHA does. But I do feel a great sense of involvement in his work also. This particular book has very distinguished features. Let me talk about a couple of those while we are looking at this book. Number one, in our age today, not many people read or write poetry. Poetry has become a necessary private occupation and a very private interest among the people. Think of the age of Mahabharata. The poet was a man of the people, and the people listened to the Mahabharata. It was a book of the people. So was the Bible, so was the Quran. Now, ARUN JHA has tried to rebuild, reconstruct that kind of a unification, that kind of a unity of mind, which is essential to any work of literature. If we compartmentalize minds, human minds, if we think that each man or woman is an island, we are mistaken. It's one mind, as Emerson thought, of oversoul being present in the human mind, in the one is mind present in the individual mind. His first section is devoted, the introduction is called indebtedness, a very unique word. We have seen in many books it's called either dedication or forward, something like that, conventional word. But ARUN JHA uses a very striking word, touching word, indebtedness, that he makes indebted to whom? He begins with a reference to the Mahabharata and Krishna's role in the war between the Kauravas and the Pandavas. And that description, the very first passage, is not the description of time past, which is not here today, the description of the critical moment which each one of us faces in life. Perhaps every moment we are passing through the crossroad, passing through the crisis. There is the fight between one aspect of our thinking and another, the struggle. Constantly, we make life a reality by going through that constantly phases of struggle. Now, Krishna is present in everyone's mind, advising our conscience is Krishna, and the word which he uses there is very significant, that is God in man. Universal God, universal form, that he reveals himself to Krishna in battlefield in Kurukshetra. That's the values are marketed, he says, in the communities. It reminds me of great lines by the English poets. For example, W.B. Yeats says that we have become arrogant and we have lost those civilized values of life, where arrogance is peddled in thoroughfares, is being sold in thoroughfares, and we have lost those simple old values of life. So, ARUN JHA says that it's important that we realize the essence of being. We realize the sense of the commonality of human beings in our own soul force. And allied to it is the section of silence. Number of important poems, and people comment on that. I have seen people written to 2-3 paragraphs, 2 pages on that particular topic. So many poems are related to silence. Now, how is silence significant in our life? All words merge into the ocean of silence. Now, when the poet, the seer, meditates, he or she feels that existence is more meaningful, not so meaningful as in words as it is in silence, in contemplation, the plane of imagination, plane of contemplation. A great teacher of ours, English professor of English, Srinivas Iyengar, if you meet him, I read his books. He observed, after years of meeting and talking with students, discussing with students, he observed a year-long silence. And was here in our industry. He felt that that was the right medium, silence is true medium to achieve contemplation to God, not word. Now this is a paradox. Word has made life a world brilliant to us. The structure is things that without word, without articulation, life would be meaningless. We have no sense of life without word. Language is giving meaning to life, language is giving form to life. But here our Chai is containing that silence is what is giving form to life. And great poet Eliot writes about words, words in silence, rivers flowing with ocean. So these words have emerged from eternal silence, turning to silence, but going towards eternal silence, God in silence, in the form of not a sort of icon, speaking silence. And if you remember, he says, those words are sweet. The heard words are sweet, and sweeter are those which are unheard. Unwords are sweet. Those the silence, which is words, which hearing silence is sweeter. There is one particular thing in the interpretation of law. The highest law is the law which is divine presence in word. And you find some eminent poets, writers have become lawyers, and lawyers have become influenced poets. For example, I think of one particular man who was a great lawyer, a great scientist, Macaulay. And you know what is said about poetry? Even the great writer Prose, you know Macaulay's history. He said that poetry advances as civilization advances in terms of commercialization and communication, then the true soul of poetry declines. But how to save that, how to save ourselves from the situation, how to redeem ourselves from that situation? The only answer is to recreate, reconstruct the poetic self in us, and to achieve the sense of unity with the other through the poetic sense of courtesy with the other. So these are the few significances which I trace in the book. And finally, one thing which establishes as the way which connects the real and appearance. The philosophers in the Western world distinguish reality from appearance. But Jha sees, and some of the seers have seen, the illusion itself is reality. Unless we create something and we live a life, a new life, by making present illusion, lose some illusions and create others. Or in other words, we can say we live in a dream. That's the kind of connection we can establish in this poetry between the dream, illusion, appearance, and reality. So that's congratulating on this sustained work, and I wish you many more years to practice. Thank you very much.